good? What's good?
Yo, 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 this your boy, Chuck D. Today I got my boy, Rowdy Razor, with me. What's going on?
Not much, man. It's a beautiful day.
Want to welcome him and everybody else to the Hot Topics podcast. Salud. All right. What's on the agenda for today, my brother?
Just going over, I guess, another day of free agency, leading up to the draft.
When is the draft?
Somewhere in April, to be honest with you.
Like the end of April or something like that?
Somewhere. I think it's like April 20th, 21st, somewhere around there.
A team that I'm super excited about is the Miami Dolphins. I've been talking about them for like 3 days. They just need a quarterback, and I promise you that team will be so good. Maybe some more defense, but you get Tua Tagovailoa out of there and replace him. Like I was saying all week, I've been talking about Baker Mayfield going to the Dolphins. He's not the best option at quarterback, but he's good enough to get them 10 games.
See, and I'm on the fence about Baker. I think he's got that desire to win. The ability is another thing. I think you ride it out with Tua. Gives you, you got him on a low contract. He's finally got some weapons around him. I definitely think this is going to be a make or break year for him. But I definitely think you got to give him a shot.
Man, even the ability that he's shown when he's healthy, I'm just not sold on Tua. I mean, I guess that's why they go get Teddy Bridgewater, just in case. But I'm really these one and done quarterbacks in this recent NFL history. They're one and done. Usually they come in, do bad, get benched, never see them again. I actually like that in some cases. I actually think it should have happened with Baker, but Baker was probably the best thing to happen to the Browns in like 20 years, so they kept him around anyway. But I do think that he's better than Tua. And he's kind of available.
I agree with that. I think Baker played in a relatively weak conference. I think the Steelers came out very lucky that year that they, almost, they had that almost perfect record until those last couple games, And I just think Baker isn't really the guy for Miami, and culture fit, everything else, I think, is just not the right move for them. I think they need to stick with him and with Tua, and just let him run out with Tyreek Hill. I don't think their offense is going to be the same for Tyreek Hill to produce
and the
numbers.
Kid Jalen Waddle, by the way. We can't
that Lambo that they acquired.
Yeah.
He's a great weapon too. They got Mike Gesicki on a franchise tag. They just signed Teron Armstead, was 5 year, $75 million.
Mm-hmm. And
something like that.
And then they just got a good running back core as well.
Who'd they get? They got Raheem and Chase, right?
And Chase Edmonds, yeah.
All right. I mean, we'll see how they turn out. Xavier Howard just got that contract too, 5 years, $90 million.
Yeah.
It's looking good for them. Again, we'll see when it comes. I think their division has kind of balanced
they
out.
Also got rid of Devontae Parker. Also,
yeah,
they sent him to New England, which I'm actually interested in seeing New England as well. They gave up a lot of those corners. I wouldn't have given up so much defense, but Bill Belichick always has a plan, so I never count him out.
I mean, they brought back Malcolm Butler. I mean, I don't know how great he is. We've seen a limited amount. Like Tennessee, he was good. Then he had that incident, whatever went on in Arizona. But he's on a 2-year contract with the Patriots now. So we'll see how their cornerback room turns out. I think the Patriots are gonna take a big step backwards this year.
You know a top team that I actually think is gonna take a big step backwards.
Who?
And this is probably about to come off as a shock to a lot of people. I actually think Kansas City is about to take the biggest step backwards we've ever seen.
I mean, as a Raiders fan, I always hope and pray that the Chiefs just, take a big step backwards. But I don't see it happening. I still think they edge out the division. I think the top two will be Kansas City and Denver now. And as pains me to say, I think it'll go Chargers, Raiders. I don't think the Raiders have addressed a lot of issues. I think the Chiefs actually adding Juju and Marquez Valdez-Scantling actually bolsters their offense a little more, and it kind of diversifies it. They're not going to have that one boy that they can just is open 24/7, but I don't think they're also going to be that bad.
But what about the offensive line issues that got exposed badly last year?
Well, they
Their
got
offensive line and their pass rushing got super severely exposed.
well they got who is it? Orlando Brown, right? They got him.
Right.
I think that they have 2 draft picks, and I think this is a very deep tackle and guard class, especially in this draft. I think that either they could move up to gravel linemen, or that they could sit where they're at and get some decent, linemen that they can develop in the next couple years. Not any like maybe impact, right off the bat, but again, Patrick Mahomes got them legs, man. I know you don't want him running around a lot, but
No, of course not. He flaps his arms. He runs like that. Like no one runs like that. But here's my big team that I'm really looking forward to in that division in particular, and it's Denver. I actually think Denver tops the division.
I would agree with that. I just don't know. Russell Wilson is a bad quarterback for me. I don't know that.
You say he's a bad quarterback?
I don't know if that he's in like a spot where he can carry a team to a Super Bowl. If you know what I mean. Like I just don't see it a lot. Like he's definitely like could lead a division, and I don't have any hate towards Russell Wilson. I just think that with this team, it's not gonna be everything it was cracked up to be. So, I just the receiving core is very young. They got a good secondary, but the coaching and everything else is just kind of they're going to be hit or miss this year. They're either going to do great or they're going to do mediocre.
Here's what I believe. Right? I believe that Russell Wilson has a standard form of play that he likes. He really likes, right? I believe that he does his thing in that standard play style that he likes. The running, then passing. I believe he uses his legs a lot more. There's a lot that I believe is going to happen with this team. Is there a lot? Does that mean there's a lot that's going to happen? Probably not. But I do believe they come out with at least 12 games, and they're going to top the division. That's just my belief. I believe that they have the good running backs. They have a decent receiving core. They have an offensive line, which is all he asked for in Seattle, which severely disappoints me because all they had to do was give him the offensive line in Seattle and he would have stayed. Wouldn't have been no beef. Anyway, had to get that out real quick on the air so that we can let people know how I feel. Anyway,
Yeah.
you give him he got the decent offensive line that he needs. They're bolstering a defense over there, like a defensive line. They need a better linebacker core in my opinion. But Russell Wilson. He'll get good with a decent defense. Like I said, he's throwing so many picks because he doesn't have an offensive line. He has to rush the ball. He's scrambling backwards. He's not going forward. Once he starts getting the confidence to go forward again, I'm telling you, 12 wins, man. Mark that.
12
wins for Denver.
12 wins for Denver. We'll mark it down, but I think that's a little stretch. My team I have taken a big step backwards as well. I think for me is definitely going to be the Green Bay Packers. I think, they're just going to bottom out that division. Even with Aaron Rodgers, I feel like they're going to be down there with Detroit. I think the Bears will take a step up.
I think they'll be better than Detroit.
I think they'll be better than Detroit, but I think they'll be fighting the Bears or the Vikings in that second spot. I think the division's really open.
Let's just agree that the NFC North and the NFC East are two pretty bad divisions.
I can get down with that.
Because I believe you.
Have you heard any of the rumors, and do you believe there's any like fire to it, or is there smoke with Tom Brady going to the Dolphins?
If Tom Brady went to the Dolphins, they're definitely a Super Bowl contending team. 100%, they're going to the Super Bowl, or at least deep in the playoffs.
If you're the Dolphins, do you get rid of that? Do you take a maybe 2-3 year run and blow up your core if need be for a Tom Brady?
It depends on what they're asking me to give up. Because so far what they're asking for some.
They're asking for some things, man. A lot of draft capital.
So I don't know how deep the rumor go. All I know is they asked for a lot of draft capital. I do know that. So, with that being said, if we want to win a Super Bowl right now, we get the Miami Dolphins a good quarterback that can win them some offense right now. You do it because what, he's still with Tampa Bay, right?
He's
when he
he's
came out of
still got
retirement.
like 2 years left on his contract.
Okay,
I believe.
so if you give him up, that means you plan on going to the Super Bowl twice. That means you have that kind of faith in him. I do, so I give up the draft capital. If the rumors are true, I give it up. To be real,
I'm with you on there. I just don't know if I'd blow up the core.
But I wouldn't blow up what we have. I wouldn't give up any receivers because then you're just moving backwards at that point. Leave him in Tampa Bay if that's the case.
Yeah,
I would be willing to give up a quarterback, some of the draft capital that we have, maybe a linebacker. Tom Brady's 45 years old. Like, I'm not giving up too much.
Yeah.
But to win a Super Bowl, I would give up the draft picks for now. It's like the same thing with and this is about to be a severely weird transition. So bear with me, right? Because I'm ready to go forward and talk about this anyway. It's like when LeBron, when he goes to a team, he doesn't care about that team having draft picks. He wants players because he's trying to win now. He's getting too old. This is once you get a Tom Brady or a LeBron, it's now or never. You have to win now. You don't have 2 or 3 years to build around them. You have to do it now. So I agree. But switching gears and segueing, I did like that discussion about the NFL. We will revisit that in a later episode if you don't mind. Revisiting the show. But how disappointing was the Lakers season this year? Man.
Oh, man. I don't even know. I think there was a lot of high hopes in the beginning of it, like Melo and Russ and AD. LeBron's getting his boys, he's getting his boys. It's gonna be great, It's gonna be, it's gonna be great. And I think it finally came to the point where we realized that LeBron can't just do it all anymore. Like, Father Time is catching up. It catches up to everybody. Not that he's not a great player. It's just, I don't think he can do it with role players anymore. I think there needs to be like a solid team around him. But Russ Westbrook, shell of what he was last season for the Wizards.
Okay,
I don't know
but do we call him a shell, or do we just say he played very unlike himself?
I mean, it's 1 year, right? It's 1 year.
Yeah, it's 1 year. I think you keep those 3 together, to be honest.
I don't know if I keep Russell. I think he's already the scapegoat for the season, right? I think he's gonna be gone. I think Russ is like, wow.
If you blow it up, here's what I think you do. And again, I'm nobody's GM. I'm just the guy talking sports right now, right?
Right.
I believe if you blow it up, you trade Anthony Davis for Yusuf Nurkic and Damian Lillard. Everybody like, oh, that's too much. Is it? Because when Anthony Davis is healthy, which he barely ever was on LA, but when he's healthy, you good. You can build around Anthony Davis. You can go get a new point guard. You can get rid of some of that money in Portland and put it on LA. But you have to trade Russ as well for some, I don't know. Who would you trade for Russ? Let's
For Russ, I mean, I'm with you on the Portland thing. I think if they're gonna pull a trigger, it needs to be in Portland. I think Portland is looking for a reason to trade Damian. I think Damian's made it harder on them because he's like, I don't want to go anywhere, and if you trade him, it looks bad to your fan base. But I think them getting Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook might change it. You get a good young star and you get a good bridge point guard. I don't know how much draft capital the Lakers have left.
Well, they have that first round pick. From somewhere.
Is their first round pick this year going to be in the lottery? Did they do that bad, or I don't know. They didn't. Off my head. So
if they didn't do that bad, they did damn near close. So it don't matter if you're in the lottery, you're right outside it.
So it just depends on what the Blazers are wanting back. I think it's a good little haul.
Or you trade Anthony Davis to Chicago. Trade him to Chicago. You get DeMar DeRozan. You get Lonzo Ball back after surgery. And, just straight up because Anthony Davis is better than both of them. Even though he's injury prone, so is Lonzo. So you get high risk, low reward. Low risk, high reward. I'm sorry. and you get players around LeBron who's actually willing to stay healthy and score. Because what you need is actual scores. I told a guy the other day that if LeBron really wants to win championships, he needs to go back, reevaluate everything, and blow up his contract, go to a team like the Warriors. So a team that can carry him, but he'll still drop 30, 40 points a game. But they'll carry him through the win. He just needs to drop what he's going to drop and get carried.
I don't know if LeBron's pride would let him do that.
Oh,
I think when Bronny touches the league, I think whatever team is drafting Bronny is gonna end up with LeBron.
Yeah.
So we could see Bron on the freaking Spurs for all we know. It could be crazy.
Bron on the Spurs.
Yeah, that's there. I mean, there's a lot of we should have scenes. We should have Chris Paul should have been in LA. All that stuff. But,
so
it's just.
So I know you listened to the episode where I spoke on the two most disappointing teams in the NBA.
Yeah.
The Brooklyn Nets are an 8th seed. It's a 1-game split between them and the 10th seed. So if they can't pull off games, and if Brooklyn lose these next 2 or 3 games that they have in the season, they'll be out the playoffs as well. That'll be severely disappointing.
I think it'll be disappointing, and it'll be off to the point of, I mean, I've been saying it all year. They should have traded Kyrie. I think Harden was so upset because he wanted to get to this team, and I don't take a whole stance on the COVID thing, right? It is what it is. Everybody, has their own rights and opinions to that. But like, if he can't play, why have him? Like, it's
true.
I would have kept the guy who's playing every night over. Now the rules have changed. New York, of course. But I would have taken the guy who wants to be there, wants to play KD over the point guard who's a damn near a part-time basketball player.
But would you be willing to risk your season for his right to not get a vaccine?
No, I wouldn't have. That's why I would have moved him. I would have moved him really quick.
I would have stood with my player, because you stand with your player, he plays better. In my opinion, he plays with more morale. You get your team, everybody. Listen, y'all. We might lose the season, but we're gonna stand with him. Let him do his thing. Okay, man. Then he comes back, and now you got him showing out like you just saw. Say LeBron goes to the Brooklyn Nets. That'd be crazy.
That would be crazy. Don't know if it could happen.
It would never happen.
It would be such a crazy thing to see. I think that team could go 82-0. Honestly, I don't know how thrilled Kyrie would be, but I think that team could go 82-0. You don't
need to be thrilled. You just need to win, right?
I think Kyrie is more about I'm the guy than winning. I think we saw that in Cleveland.
Well, we saw that in Boston when he left Cleveland, yes, and in with the Boston Celtics.
Oh yeah. Hey, I don't mean to interrupt, but the Nets just beat the Knicks. They were down 21. They
came back and beat them.
Yeah, KD 13-9-6 in the fourth quarter.
Hey, that's what you need to stay in these playoffs. You cannot get eliminated. That's it. You cannot get eliminated. You need to win You need to win out, or you will be eliminated.
They need to win out, and they need to prove to people that this wasn't like. I think for KD and Kyrie's sake, like that this wasn't just like a waste of money, because this would just be another stain on the Nets. Like, oh, we got these players and they didn't work out.
But it's nothing but a star power pool. Like, we knew this was going to be a waste of money. Everybody was like, okay, Brooklyn, but we knew the Milwaukee Bucks. If you go look at my podcast from 2020. Basically, it's the Hot Topic podcast I load on YouTube. If you go check that out from 2020, I said that they don't have enough defense to stop Milwaukee. They did not, and Milwaukee came out and won. Here's my thing. Here's my thing. I want to get to a couple of hot topics because that's what this is about, and I want to break down a few narratives, right? So. And I want to ask you these questions. Who do you think you can plug and play Just star power from, let's say, from 95 and below. Because 96 is where the mega draft happened, where the NBA changed forever.
Yeah.
But let's go 95 and below, right? And younger. Who do you think could play in today's NBA? And you can just name superstars. We don't have to name any BS players, because we know there was a lot of those. Who do you think you could plug and play right now with their same game? Let's not say, oh, well, sports science is different, so now they will play with no. Plug and play. Take them from wherever their era was, plug them right now in today's NBA. Who do you think will play?
You said not 1996, and the first person that comes to my mind when you say that is definitely Allen Iverson, and I hate that we're going below her, because I think AI would be the best player in the league if you plugged him in right now.
So that's why I stopped it at 95.
Oh man, 95.
Because that's the Kobe, Ray Allen, Allen Iverson, Derek Fisher. You got a lot of players come out that year, and I don't want to do that year. I want to do below that, because that year is when the NBA changed forever.
If I had to plug one person in, I don't even know who I could. I think.
I mean, I'm talking about MJ, anybody, like.
Right, and that's my hard thing is I don't think any of these I think there's very select few guys that could hang with the NBA right now. I think you could plug in MJ. I think MJ definitely could play in this league. I think he would have more success. I think back then I think it was very competitive. No one wanted to team up with anybody. It was
okay. Well, what made you think that? Because you still got people like the Tony Kukocs, the Dennis Rodmans, and you know what I'm saying, like.
But that Dennis Rodman was a great he wasn't I'm talking about superstar that would be like Magic and Jordan playing together.
But you still have Magic and Kareem playing together though.
Yeah, but I'm not disrespecting Kareem, right? But that was later in his career.
But by how much though? you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's where I'm at on that. You could plug in MJ. I think you could plug in Charles Barkley. I think Charles Barkley would do great in this. I don't.
I think Charles Barkley's an overrated 6'7" guy.
Oh my gosh.
I do.
Oh man.
I think Charles Barkley played in the league. They say, oh, it was big man dominant, but big man was really over 6'9" at the time, right? You got Shaq, you got Dream, but how many really dominant big men was over 6'9", 6'8"?
I can't even think of any.
You know what I'm saying?
But he was that different breed. And you know what? If Zion Williamson can play right now, I think they're damn near the same player.
Yeah,
I think Zion is way more athletic.
He would resonate what Charles Barkley is today. What Charles Barkley would be today. Charles Barkley was mega athletic. But as far as him, when you talk about players like Draymond, that's why Draymond bro, I can come and take your job. Yeah, only champions should be sitting at that table, to be honest. A lot of times when Charles speaks on other players, I'm like, bro, these players are proven champions. You are not. I think that Charles Barkley, I think that his athleticism and some of his highlights, I think it sales a lot of people. And it doesn't sell me. I think that people overrate him slightly. And I think before we continue, I think people slightly overuse the term overrated. Because when we talk about a player that's overrated, we're not talking about he didn't have skill, right? But because Charles Barkley has skill, he had athleticism. When we talk about overrated, we're talking about him being better than what he actually was. No, bro, we're not gonna sit here and say that, oh man, he could have in today's NBA, he would have tore them a new one. No, he wouldn't have. He's 6'7". Joel Embiid is 7 foot tall, bro. It's 7'1".
Joel Embiid is just kind of a built different guy,
Of course, but so is Jokic, so is Andre Drummond, so is Anthony Davis when he's healthy.
Andre Drummond.
That's why I said was.
Yeah.
That's why I said so was Andre Drummond. I'm just giving prolific bigs, like Giannis. You know what I'm saying? KD, LeBron. He wouldn't have been doing what he's doing. Karl Malone was 6'8", 6'9", bro.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
he
saying?
wasn't very big, but he was like, I don't think anybody back then, like, the 7-footers were rare, you know.
That's what I'm
And if
saying.
and if
So
they
like,
were
literally,
7 foot, they didn't have a lot of skill. They were just big.
the only two cats that had a whole lot of skill at 7 foot was Shaq and Hakeem. And Hakeem, I don't even think was 7 foot. Yeah, Hakeem was
Yeah,
like 6'11", 6'10".
nah, Hakeem was 7'1". He was up there. He was up there in height. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. And even if he was, that's fair, right? But that's two players that was great. And then when people go to
I would say even Larry Bird. I'm gonna be honest.
would you say Larry Bird?
I would
was
say
Larry Bird
Larry. No, but that, I mean, look at how much success Tim Duncan had. Tim
with
Duncan
no
was not.
athleticism, but Tim Duncan has super fundamentals with one of the greatest coaches.
I think
coached the game
Larry
basketball.
Bird is one of the most skilled basketball players. I mean, he was taking down Magic. You know,
Man,
and
he was losing to Magic.
we were. I mean, he was, but they was going back and forth though. You know, he was putting down, MJ before MJ got really, before that really big run that was the most notable. But like,
Well, that's after everybody got old too. So that's why I don't discredit MJ. I just like to mention that everybody was old. So we're not gonna.
and he was still struggling against Bird. Bird was still out here, But I think Larry Bird could come in right now, plug in, and like Prime Bird could plug in and win a chip. You could plug him in to like
Prime Bird could plug in and win a chip, and I believe it.
Yeah.
I won't disagree. To me, Prime Bird is better than Kevin Durant.
And that's where I think they're two different players, and that's where I find the issue in that. But I think Larry Bird is a better leader, and I think that's why I would take Bird over Durant.
I believe that Prime Bird is a better defender overall.
I go with that one. Yeah, I think he's a better all around player. I think he's a better leader and a better all around player.
He could score. He could win. I mean, playing against bums in that era. So they play against a lot of bums, but then your skill does not dissipate because you played against a bum.
Yeah, I think if you plugged them in now and they had the same like training and the same everything else that everybody else does, now I think they'd be great. I think Larry Bird could, I think Larry Bird would be 4 or 5 chips in.
Also, if you switched it and you took from 2003 to now, you think they could play in the 90s and below?
100%.
And we're only talking about superstars.
100%. I think every All-Star now could go play in the 90s. I'm gonna be honest. Be 100% honest. And this might be being, younger and not like I grew up probably like started watching basketball like 97, 98, and I just the athleticism, bro. Like even you could put in who like, Jamal Crawford would have been one of the probably the best, like one of like he'd have been Reggie Miller, but better with better handles.
Yeah.
In that 1990s, like he probably could have led the league in scoring, not just be a 6-man than he is now. Like there's a lot of people that are 6, like Lou Will, is another one. A bunch of 6-man in this league now could definitely be starters and stars back in the 90s. So like if you tell me that Giannis would go in and win 8 chips, I think Bron could have went through and won 8 in a row. I think it's just hard. Do I think they wouldn't have challenges? No, I just don't think.
In a row with that Cleveland team, and I think that Giannis being on the team with
Big
I
O?
just said his name earlier.
Big O or Kareem?
Kareem. You get Giannis on that team with Kareem, they win 8, 9 in a row. They got to fight through LeBron, but they gon'.
I mean, could you imagine Steph Curry back then?
Oh yeah. So my point is that there was really no point guards who could shoot the ball like Steph, and no shooting guard who could shoot the ball like Clay. Really, what are you gonna do?
You could plug in Clay, and I don't know if he'd win a chip, but he would definitely increase.
So if you got Robert Horry out here winning chips with people, you don't think that you can get Clay out here winning chips with people, man?
I'm talking about like if you just put Clay like by himself. He's
the main star of the team.
Yeah, I don't know.
I could slightly agree with you, but I still disagree at the same time because you still need a point guard to get him that ball. You get Steve Kerr passing Klay that ball, and let's say Hakeem is on the team. Klay is dropping the same 56 points. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
Klay is going crazy. Like, I believe Klay is the greatest shooter we've ever seen. I believe that even though Steph Curry has the bigger highlighted shots, I believe that Klay is the better shooter.
He's more consistent. Like, he's like, if
Before
I needed a bucket,
injury.
even now, I think he's proved. I think this was a great comeback season for him. You know, I think this went really well for him. You know.
Okay.
I do believe that. I think he definitely isn't as defensive as he was in previous years, but offensive wise, I think he's back to I think he might be a little better. I'm gonna be honest. I think without him exerting so much on the defensive end, it's given him more to score. You know.
Okay.
I think Melo as well. I mean, another big guy for me. You know, Melo. I think Melo would have had a couple chips.
I think Prime Melo. If you throw JR out there, he's going to be Jordan back in the day.
Talking about Smith?
J.R. Smith, yes.
Oh man.
No. Go back and watch JR in Denver, bro. Like,
in Denver, he was good, but I don't know about chips.
Listen,
I don't know about
chips. He lost his soul. He's going to be like he's going to be like the next Dr. J. I'm not gonna say the next Michael Jordan. He'll be the next Dr. J. Let's be real.
I think he would be exactly who he is now.
Oh, you tripping?
And bro, hey JR, I don't know, bro.
You don't like Henny JR.
I'm telling you, he's a great personality basketball player. I mean,
listen. JR is probably one of the JR got captured at 18, man.
I mean, yeah, he was good. You know, he was like for the time.
The time, listen.
I mean, a lot of people got drafted at 18. Nah, man. Nah, a lot of people got drafted
at 18, bro.
Yeah.
Nah, he was special.
You know. But that is what that is, you know. I mean, I won't go into that one with you because we could be trying to arguing about that. But oh man.
The point is to discuss these hot topics.
Hey, I feel that, but I just don't see JR. I don't see Blake Griffin going in and being great. You know, I know we're talking about who could. I think there's a good like 20 to 25 players you can definitely plug into the 90s. You know, I think there's more I think there's quite a few more players you could plug into the 90s than you could from the 90s plug into now.
Okay. And this is the last topic before this episode ends because we're almost running out of time here.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about Magic?
Magic Johnson?
Yeah, and then reciprocate that question after you're done.
Oh man, Magic. I mean, I think he's one of the greatest. I think he was like that kid who played point guard in high school, right? You know, for 8th grade, and he's working on his handles because he was too small, and out of nowhere he just caught a growth spurt. Like he should have been playing small forward. You know, okay. But
that day center because that's how tall centers were.
Yeah, I mean Magic was a freak of nature. It's almost like how you could abuse 2K by putting Giannis at point guard. You know, yeah. That's basically what it was. It was the Giannis of the time. You know, could shoot decently if needed be, but was like a post drive to the basket, great defender. You know, super lengthy. Like you couldn't get around him. You know, and I mean, what are your thoughts on that? You know, you want to elaborate on that at all, or?
I actually think Magic Johnson was overrated.
Oh my gosh!
But let me tell you.
Let me hear this.
Magic. I love Magic.
Let me hear this.
But when people be like, "Oh, he was one of the greatest," greatest at what? Exactly. He was a 6'9" point guard. He played amazing defense on point guard. And just because a player fancy passes the ball does not make them great. You do that a lot in a game, and you're fine. You're going to get an assist title. Listen, we're talking about a 5-time NBA champion right now, and I love Magic. But I also know his skill based on skill. I'm not talking about like what he's done and accomplished. His skill, because he has an IQ of a menace. Like he has one of the best IQs ever. But when we talking about his skill is overrated. He couldn't even dribble.
I don't know. I think he was. Yeah, I'll go with the non. I think he was just like he had great IQ. Handles,
Amazing. Like
handles. I don't think anybody had great handles back in the day.
that's what I'm saying. Like he never had any handles. Just because you fake pass and then throw it to somebody else, that doesn't mean you're great. You can show me 17 highlights of somebody doing that. That's not making you great or not great. Okay?
I think he'd have been great. I don't think his career got cut short per se, but I think he could have played a lot longer if it wasn't due to the HIV.
I think that when he came back, I think he became a better.
I mean,
Like there was
when he came back, he only played 32 games.
And then when he came back, he became a better shooter. Again, he had no dribble moves. He had an outside shot that was okay. He had good defense, good rebounding, but he's 6'9", so when he get in there with a smaller guy, and Dennis Rodman was only 6'7". So when we talk about good rebounders, Charles Barkley was only 6'7". So we talk about this stuff, but Magic is 6'9". We're talking about a bigger guy here. You know what I mean? And I just believe, but before we go, because we got 2 minutes. That I just believe that he was. When people talk about Magic, I think they need to talk about it into perspective. I think that he was a little overrated. His team was really good because when we talk about good teams, Magic had a really good team with him. Man. He didn't carry a team. They were a really good team. That was a good ass team that they played with in LA.
I think you got to put a little more respect on his name, but it is what it is. I mean, again, I think he's one of the best point guards to grace the game, but
okay, that's fair.
It is what it is. Everybody got their own opinions, man. But
alrighty, my brother, can we get a salute to end the show?
Hey, yo, man, take it easy, everybody. Thanks for listening. Salute.
Salute.